The same corporate university model that inflated student debt has also robbed professors like Nikole Hannah-Jones of job security. I'm Yoonj Kim, and this is MTV News Need to Know. Award-winning journalist Nikole Hannah-Jones was denied tenure days after being offered a position as night chair at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. This is an unprecedented move, given that the school has tenured every one of its past recipients. And Hannah-Jones isn't just a UNC alum, but a Pulitzer Prize winner and MacArthur genius. This news sparked outrage from students and staff because it essentially denies her job security that other professors receive. New Yorker staff writer Jelani Cobb tweeted, "The UNC decision to deny tenure to Nikole Hannah-Jones is obscene. Tenure exists precisely to protect faculty from this kind of politicized decision-making." While the UNC faculty enthusiastically approved her tenure, the decision came from the university's Board of Trustees. In an unsigned op-ed titled UNC Gone Full Woke, Hannah-Jones was described as inflammatory and a firebrand activist for her work on the 1619 Project, a long-form journalism project that places slavery as a central crux of American history. The move exposed a growing rift in ideology between the Board of Trustees and UNC staff and students, and raised the wider question of who our intellectual gatekeepers are. Former UNC professor and night chair Alberto Cairo tweeted that the excuses for not giving her tenure are bull. A reactionary, authoritarian, anti-intellectual uprising is at war with academia. This is just the latest skirmish. Tenure itself is controversial, and in many countries, including the UK, it was abolished decades ago. On one hand, it's an archaic model that critics say encourages complacency, since tenured professors have employment for life and essentially can't be fired. At the same time, it's a declining form of job security for teachers. American universities were governed by professors until the 1970s, when control shifted to boards, modeling universities after corporations. This shift has allowed for tuition inflation, creating a student debt crisis, and today, students collectively owe $1.3 trillion. Colleges use $10 to $12 million of endowments for a 35-year tenure, so it's cheaper for universities to hire part-time or contingent professors who make up a majority of the workforce. But the flip side is that these tenure positions afford a level of academic freedom. Universities defend this barrier to entry for fear of that autonomy and its costs. Writer and former professor Ed Bermilla tweeted, "I wish academia would direct the same passion it generates for a patently unfair, discriminatory, high-profile tenure denial to the thousands of scholars who are effectively denied tenure by the absence of jobs because the previous generation turned the profession into gig work." For example, the Georgetown community is rallying for Pakistan-born professor Mubashir Rizvi, who many believe was denied tenure because of his race. Many blame conservative board members for having outsized power and discriminating in hiring decisions, which of course trickles down and affects students. Meanwhile, a petition to tenure Hannah-Jones is spreading around campus, as well as protests. And UNC student government members wrote, "Walking into this university, unfortunately, you are walking into a place where respect is minimal, criticism is high, and quantity is all too few for academics of color, especially Black women." Denying tenure to professors like Nikole Hannah-Jones ultimately shows a power imbalance in higher education. Her tenure will be up for review in 5 years. But in truth, universities need people like her more than she needs them. But with the current financial model, many scholars' stability relies on this imbalanced relationship. Is this the kind of education system that best serves students? I'm Yoonj Kim, and that's what you need to know.